Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Comfort Zone. This one is starting off a little differently because we actually recorded the main part of the episode a couple weeks ago in advance because we knew that as we got close to Christmas we were not going to be able to get to each other very easily. So we're recording our wins and wobbles virtually so they're actually up to date.
I'm in the comfort zone alone.
It feels really weird seeing the sofa and the blanket and the plant and I'm just sat in my bedroom.
I know. It's actually quite cozy. I should spend more time up here because it's just such a chill vibe, especially with the lamp. I'm feeling very zen.
You
right
literally
now.
have the comfort zone available to you at all times and you don't go up there.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
I know. This would be like the perfect little reading nook as well. If I read, I really want to read. That's something that I want to do in
Yes.
2025.
Start reading, start journaling up there. They obviously won't know this. Jaycie's on FaceTime behind the camera, keeping it real. And I feel like I'm on the news. Like, it feels like we're talking. It's so weird. Anyway, let's get into our...
You're presenting to
Yeah,
everyone.
I'm literally like, so Jaycee, back to you. Back to you in the comfort zone. Let's get into our wins and wobbles. I want to know what your win has been this week.
I like that. Starting on a high. My win this week. I mean, it is Christmas in literally 5 days. 5
Are you
days.
serious?
5 days. Do you know what? Yeah, this is a bit of a wobble, but I'm just gonna throw it out there anyway. I haven't even started my Christmas shopping yet.
Jaycee, that is so stressful.
Every year I'm like, I'm gonna do it early, and I've just tried not to think about it because it stresses me out, but now it's stressing me out more because it's literally 5 days away and I haven't done it. But that's fine. Moving on.
It's fine,
Anyway,
yeah.
win.
No, this is the
It's
latest
fine,
I've
it's
ever
fine.
done my Christmas shopping this year, but I am done. So I think
You are
if I
done.
was you right now, I would be crying because you still have to wrap everything.
Yeah. I like rapping though. I feel like rapping is really fun. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
it
that.
does make your back ache a bit though.
Yeah, but I like adding all like the ribbons, the decorations, and making it a bit extra.
I haven't done that much this year. I've wrapped like 2 presents. What am I on about?
I'm gonna judge your rapping skills. I'm gonna judge
They're
them.
bad. I'm actually not good at wrapping. I'm really not.
I feel like it's a skill.
Yeah,
You
it's
need
like,
to have the patience.
and knowing exactly how much to cut for each thing. Well, obviously you like
Yeah.
lay it out on it, whatever, but like I always get it wrong. I always get the ratios
Yeah.
wrong.
And then you have to stick an extra bit on, or then you run out. We're going on a tangent here.
What is your win?
My win is that I have quite a lot of plans over the next 5 days, obviously with Christmas around the corner, and I'm just excited for them. Normally it would stress me out to another level when I know that I don't have a day at home. I am the person that needs, I don't know, I just need to be at home. So if I'm doing something every day, then I get a little bit like, oh, can't do it, can't wait for it to be over. But I'm excited for my plans now.
Yeah, and
And it's a nice feeling.
the stuff you're doing will be like right up your street. So I feel like
Yeah.
hopefully that will make it fun and cozy and festive instead of like overwhelming and big and scary.
Exactly. When all the plans that you have are things that you genuinely do enjoy, rather than, well, I mean, all do things that we don't technically want to do. Like if you have to go out and do the food shopping, even though I do find that quite fun sometimes. If like you have to do something like that, it's like, oh, don't want to do it. But to have fun plans, like I'm going to like a carol service tomorrow. That'll be fun.
That's so
I'm
cute.
seeing you.
Especially after the start of our last episode, which we started by singing carols, which we actually didn't sing
Yeah.
any carols. It was very questionable.
I'm gonna take over the whole concert, I think, and just like burst out into song.
No, I'm very proud of you because I feel like if there's one thing I have learned about you in our kind of short friendship, even though it feels like we've known each other forever, it's that you are a homebody. So
Thank
the fact that
you.
you're not feeling super stressed about plans, so great.
It's good.
I also feel
Thank you
honoured
so
because
much.
I am one of the plans. And I'm
You're
like,
actually the plan that I'm dreading.
oh, no, I actually don't want to see you at all. I
No,
I don't really want to do the podcast anymore either because I kind of hate you. So
Your win, please.
your win,
I'm
please.
begging you.
My win this week has been that, well, actually, technically, this was my win last week, but we filmed the episodes a week behind. So I'm going to have it as my win for last week because I don't really feel like I've been alive this week. Like, I'm not really sure what's happened. It's
Oh.
just kind of, we're on the end of the week and I'm literally like, it's just gone.
It has flown.
I've been
but
well,
I
I've
feel like
been
you've also
fine.
been busy.
Yeah. But, you know, I just haven't felt like a real person this week. I don't know. I've just been kind of,
Just in robot mode.
yeah, and just feeling a bit all over the place. So I would say my win is
Oh.
last week when I went to see Sam Fender with my brother. Actually, that morning, I had some really, really sad news, and there was that part of me that was like, I feel so sad right now. I really don't think I can go this evening. And then I was like, no, because I know that if I go, I will have a good time. And it's just the getting ready and getting there that is the really stressful bit. And I did. I went and I had the loveliest time. I actually feel like I don't really use the term core memories very much because I feel like it's a bit overused and people literally just say anything is a core memory. But I honestly feel like I formed a core memory with my brother. Like, it was just so nice. It was so wholesome. And we just had a great night and it was a great distraction from my brain. And yeah, just I was very pleased that I went.
That's so lovely. That really is so lovely. I can just imagine the good vibes that were in that room that night. I feel like that's a really good thing to take into life as well. I know we can have a lot of negative things that happen, and it can leave us wanting to literally like curl up into a ball and not leave the house. But as soon as you get out and do something, you feel so much better. If you can, obviously. I
Mm,
know it's sometimes like impossible when you're in like a negative headspace.
yeah.
But it's just the fact of getting there and the fact that you did that. But the fact that you overcame that block and made such a special memory is just, I don't know, that's so cute.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you.
Thanks. It's not always possible to go out and to
No.
do the thing even if like you're struggling. Sometimes it is just too much, but I think there are times where you will know that you could manage it, and this was one of those times where I was like, I know that if I really push myself I can manage it and I will have a good time. Whereas there are some times where I'm like, if I push myself I'm gonna end up really freaking out and not being well, or so then I won't
Yeah,
choose to do it. But I think it's just if you know yourself enough to know when something is genuinely going to be bad for you or when you're just avoiding it from anxiety, then yeah,
that's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. There's boundaries that you need to set, but also sometimes going out of your comfort zone is a good thing.
yeah, I'm not in the
But
comfort
I'm very
zone.
proud of you. Be jealous.
I am jealous.
Be jealous. But no, I'm very proud of you for that, and I just hope you're okay.
Thank
I
you.
really do.
I am. I am.
I am.
I'm ready for 2024 to be over.
Yeah,
2024 is
I'm ready for
so
you
last
for it to be
year.
over.
Yeah.
No, your 2025 is just,
It
it's
better
going
be
to be amazing.
the best year ever, otherwise me and the universe, we're going to be having words. I'm not having
Gonna sort it out.
another 2024 kind of year. But anyways, I want to know on a different note what your wobble was this week.
I think it might be obvious if anyone is listening quite closely and knows what my voice sounds like. I sound a little bit different right now because I've been sick. I've been poorly for the past, I don't know, 3, 4 days? Can't remember. But it's not been fun. I don't get sick that often. Like, I'm really actually very lucky in the fact that I probably get sick like once every 2 years. But kind of grateful it happened before actual Christmas, because if I felt like this on Christmas Day, it would be a different story. I would not be having a happy Christmas. That's pretty much it. I was going to say, but what? But I've been surrounded by tissues. I've been coughing. I've lost my sense of smell and taste, which is really sad.
Oh.
And my head's just been like absolutely pounding. Like, you know when your whole body just hurts?
Mm,
Like, I told you this the other day, like even down to my teeth. I was sat on the sofa and I was like, my teeth just ache, and it's
yeah.
just such a weird
That is the
feeling.
worst kind of cold when you're walking around and you can it's like you can feel your teeth in your skull, like in a
Yeah,
way that you can never normally feel them. That is the worst kind of stuffy
yeah,
head kind of cold. I hate that. So,
yeah. It's not fun. But I've been taking my vitamins. I've had a lot of cups of tea
mm.
and some like buttery toast. And yeah, that's pretty much been me. I've been bedridden for. I spent one day in bed, so that's not that bad. But
I've been bedridden.
bedridden, that's actually a bit dramatic. A bit dramatic. I'm not a good sick person. I think that's what I've gathered over the past 3 days. I just complain and complain and complain. But it's fine. I'm feeling better now. What's been your wobble?
My wobble this week has been I've been feeling really, really anxious, and I don't know if it's just about Christmas. I'm not feeling Christmassy or festive at all, and I don't know why, because in November, I put this on my story yesterday, and the amount of people that agreed with me, in November, I was feeling so festive. I was like, I'm so excited for Christmas, like I was hyped. And now
Yeah,
Christmas
five
is
days.
5 days away from us right now, and
Yeah.
I genuinely feel like it is March right now, and people are
Yeah,
going,
I get that.
let's pretend it's Christmas. Just like let's like throw a fake Christmas in March and everyone just pretend. And my brain's going, I can't pretend. I know that it's not really Christmas, but the difference is that it is actually Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't like
That's such a good way to put it.
that is the like cognition in my brain is like it's not really Christmas, but everyone's lying to me and telling me it's Christmas.
I think it's because everything's just gotten so fast. I don't know about you, but I feel like the last 3 weeks have absolutely flown. And even though like we put our Christmas tree up early, we kind of put it up and then just forgot about everything else that goes with Christmas. We were like, okay, it's done now. And then like we just haven't done anything else. Have you done anything like festive?
Honestly, not really. I
No.
decorated my tree with while listening to our podcast back
Oh,
because it needed to go
cute.
up, I think, that night or the day after. So I didn't listen to Christmas music.
Yeah, I haven't listened to any Christmas music yet.
Maybe that's what I'm lacking this year.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to Christmas music. Haven't done any baking. I've not really done anything. I think
Oh,
I've been too busy doing other stuff and being out of the house. I went to a Christmas market, but
that's
it
cute.
was just kind of full of stuff that I could have probably bought for an eighth of the price on Etsy. So, and I kind of felt bad for everyone that was shopping there because I was like, guys, this is all like drop shipped. You don't need to be buying
Yeah.
from this market. But yeah, so I was feeling like Scrooge when I was there. And generally,
Oh,
I've been really anxious this past week, but the sort of
yeah.
anxiety where I can't rationalize it very easily because it's anxiety in my body. Like I know that I'm due on my period and I always get more anxious when I'm due on my period. But I've been finding it really hard to rationalize the anxiousness. And I think honestly it's just a build up of 2024 being
Yeah.
so draining and exhausting. I've gotten to the end of it and I'm like, I just don't really know what to do with myself now. To spin that on its head, I'm just so excited for 2025. I'm so ready for a fresh start. I'm ready for a new year, the same me, but continuing to look after myself, be kind to myself, and hopefully, new year, new positive energy because
Yes.
2024 it's had great things happen, don't get me wrong. Meeting you, the podcast, other secret things that I can't talk about. It's had its
Ooh.
great moments, but I'm also getting anxious because I know at the start of 2020, or at the end of 2023, sorry, I was like,
Yeah.
2024 is going to be my year. It's going to be the best year ever. And then I'm going, well, I'm saying 2025 is going to be great. What if it's terrible? But again, touch wood, I can't tell myself that because no, that's just bad
No.
energy, and I'm not taking any bad energy into 2025 with me.
No, that chapter is closed. 2024 is gone. Leave it in the past. I'm in a different mindset about like the whole New Year thing. Like I feel like January 1st is just another day. The amount of pressure that we can put on ourselves to make it like best thing ever. And as soon as we wake up on January 1st, I'm gonna be this new incredible person that's unrecognizable. But it's also okay to jump on that motivation. Like January 1st is a day that comes with like so much good energy, and yeah, I feel like motivation is the only word. Like you just wake up ready to start new things and to do all the things that you said you would do but you haven't done. And yeah, just it's about taking it easy. Like if you set yourself 1,000,001 resolutions, then obviously it's not going to work and then you're going to feel like crap a week later. But if you just ease into the new year, take things as they come, but also just try and be like 1% better, I feel like that's a good way to approach it.
If you can use the new year as positive motivation, by all means do. If
Yeah.
you are getting stressed because you feel like you have to uproot your life and change and be a new person, that's when it's not a good thing. But anyway, with that little ramble, we will hand you over to Past Us, who recorded
Yes.
a fun Q&A episode for you.
I love this episode. I feel like it's just really fun, really good vibes. Leading into the Christmas week, there's such a loud car outside. Yeah, I just feel like it's really good, wholesome vibes, especially with Christmas next week. We're keeping it on a fun note. And also, please leave your wins and wobbles below as well. As always, we love to celebrate your wins with you, and we want to know that all of the wobbles, all of the bad things are completely normal, and it's okay to have your down moments as well. We're normalising that, and we're all in this together.
And no win is too small. A win is a win. If you
Yes.
have struggled to get out of bed and you manage to get out of bed and that's your win, we still want to hear it. So, on that note, enjoy the episode and we love you lots.
We do. We love you lots. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We will see you back in the studio.
Over to you guys in the studio.
We're feeling extra comfy today.
Like, you know, when you feel really comfortable and you're the right temperature and your belly's full and you just could fall asleep?
Yeah,
That's the mood.
yeah, that's how we're feeling right now. So on that note, we're going to keep this episode really chill. We've asked you what's on your mind. We love doing this as a segment in our normal episodes, but we wanted to do a whole episode, just giving you advice, answering questions, talking about us as well. I feel like we talk a lot about things that we've gone through and things that we want to give advice on, but we don't really just go into our lives and us as people as much.
Also, the fact that we kind of started this podcast as an extension of what we already post about on social media, but
Yeah.
now there are some people who have found us who don't really know who we are, so it's probably nice for them to get to know us. And we will actually leave our Instagrams, like our personal separate Instagrams, in the description of this podcast. So if you do want to go and follow us individually, you can.
You can. I often think that I'm not really that interesting of a person, but that is me being critical of myself, and I think we're both actually quite interesting people. So it'd be nice to talk about, what we do aside from talking about the things that we go through and struggles. Just talk about ourselves as people, because we are more than that.
We're not just the big heavy things.
Yeah.
We're not just big heavy things. That's not what I meant.
What do you want to say?
We're more than that. We're more than what we have gone through, and more than the things that we struggle with. So the first little segment of today's Q&A episode is going to be questions about us.
Thank you so much for being interested in us as well, to ask us about who we are as people. It's just really nice. It is really nice. Are you ready to jump into the first question?
Yeah.
Okay. The first question is, how long have we known each other / how did we meet? Which is an interesting question, because you'd probably be surprised we haven't known each other for that long.
It feels like we've known each other for years, and I feel
Yeah.
like the way we are around each other, it feels like I've known you for a lot longer than I have. But we actually met in February this year.
Yeah, and it's currently end of no, it's not. It's not November, it's December
Yeah.
right now. I'm stuck in the past.
You laughed at me yesterday for saying it was December, and you were like, no, it's not. And you were like, oh my God, it is.
It's already like a week into December.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met in February, so what's that? Quick maths.
10 months.
Yeah, we met 10 months ago. Yeah, we met at an event for a book launch.
Yes, we
which
did.
You were actually in the book.
I wrote a little something for the book, and
Yeah.
then found out that you were going to be going to the book launch event.
Yeah.
I followed you. You followed me. Did I message you?
I think we'd spoken a little bit before, just like reply to general stories, just like mutuals.
Yeah.
But we met there. We met up before we went in, so we met at the station together and we came into the event together, and it was just
We
good
just
vibes.
instantly clicked.
Shall we tell what we actually clicked over?
both being really sweaty.
It was really hot in this room.
So hot. There were so many people in like a very small space.
Yeah, and we both looked at each other. I don't know exactly how it went down, but something along the lines of, I'm really sweaty right now. Shall we go to the bathroom and get some deodorant?
Yeah, because there was deodorant in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we were in there just living life, spraying deodorant.
Yeah, making sure we didn't smell.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how we knew we were going to be besties.
Yeah.
From that moment
Just two
on.
sweaty girls.
I feel like that's really, really cool when you can feel that comfortable around someone straight away.
Yeah.
Like, it's not everyone that you can go up to and not the first thing you say to them, but one of the first things you say to them be something that we don't genuinely talk about. Like, I wouldn't go up to someone else and be like,
hello, I'm sweaty.
yeah. No, yeah, that makes it sound like we literally just went up to each other and was
Hello,
just like...
you look sweaty. Do you want to be friends?
But that's how we knew we were going to be friends, because we were so comfortable around each other straight away. We just gave off that energy.
Yeah.
So that's how we met.
And then we continued to meet up, and then
Yeah.
we became really good friends.
Yeah. And then that leads us very quickly into the next question, which was, when did the idea of the podcast come about? How did the comfort zone happen? So take it away.
Took it away. Well, I wanted to start a podcast for ages, and I think you wanted to start one too, right?
Yeah, I have wanted to do one, but my issue was that I would not have anything to say if I was just sat talking to a camera by myself.
And I kind of felt the same. Like, I would have loved to start a podcast, but I was worried that I'd just sort of zone out and end up like not really knowing what to say or finding it quite difficult. But because every time we met up, we were just so similar, we got on so well, the conversation always flowed so easily, and we have such similar views on things and very similar lifestyles in terms of like, we have very free and healthy relationships with food, with exercise. I knew that there's no way either of us would be unhealthy for each other's audiences, and that I actually just really enjoy talking to you. So I was like, if I was going to do a podcast with anyone, it would be you. And then I really casually brought it up to you. I was like, do you know what's crazy is I've been thinking of starting a podcast.
Hint, hint.
We have the messages.
We do have the messages. Do you remember when they were from? I think it was April.
I think it was April. And,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh yeah, I already have the name picked out, The Comfort Zone. And then you were like, no way, I love that. Like, that's exactly the sort of vibe that I would go for as well. And then I was like,
and like straight away we
well.
envisioned the set and like the actual vibe of the podcast, how chill it would be, candles, lights, everything. It just, I feel like it came to life overnight.
it's
'cause we
literally,
both,
this is exactly how we imagined it.
yeah, because we both had the exact same vision. and I wouldn't do it with anyone other than you.
Although maybe at some point we will get like a guest.
We would love that, but to speak with someone for this long every single week, it's actually quite hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no one that I could speak this much to other than you, because I just feel comfortable around you, and we have different experiences but same ones in the same way, so it's nice that we can bounce off of each other as well. Like, we don't have 100% the same opinions, but in a healthy way.
In like I don't feel weird or awkward saying to you like, really, I disagree.
Yeah, exactly.
I can say to you like, oh, I actually feel this way, and I know that
Yeah.
you're not going to be like, what do you mean you don't agree with me? Like,
Exactly.
we have a very healthy dynamic, and there is
Yeah.
kind of a common thread that runs through both of our lives. Like, every experience we've ever had, even if you can't directly relate, you have a level of understanding, and yeah there's just
We're just good for each
we're
other.
just great friends.
We are, and I'm just very lucky to have met you. Not to get soppy, but I'm just very grateful for you. And yeah,
Thank you.
it's a very, very happy friendship that I didn't think I'd have. So
Do you know I was going to make you repeat that because I moved the bean bag around, and then I thought, no, that would be really awkward because
ruined my
you'll have to
initial.
say something really nice to me for a second time, and I have to pretend that I've heard it for the first time.
I'm more than happy to tell you again. I know you want to hear it.
Can I? Sorry, I didn't quite
I
catch
really
that.
appreciate you.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know.
Wow.
You're actually so incredible. I'm just going to keep paying you the compliments here because I know you can't take them.
No, I'm really bad at taking compliments. That's something I do need to get better at because, you know, I
Yeah.
just spend so much of my life being complimented.
To be you. On the topic of compliments, one of the other questions we had was, what is your favourite quality about the other person? And now, as soon as I read this question, I panicked a bit. Not because I can't give her any compliments, but because I feel so under pressure to like give a good one.
Jaycie turned to me and goes, this is a really hard question. And I was like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, I actually can't think of one thing about you that I actually like. No, I feel like I'm really put on the spot when I have to give someone a compliment. It's like when someone asks you to give a fun fact about yourself and then you suddenly think that you are the most boring person on earth and can't think of like a single personality trait.
My favourite quality about you is that I was about to say you always listen and you don't judge, but not in the like trend way of like we listen and we don't judge. But you genuinely have never ever ever made me feel weird or like anything I'm saying is strange. Like, you just always make me feel really comfortable, and I feel like that's probably why your audience feels like so safe in your kind of Jaycie's Diary sphere, because you just create such a safe space because you're so authentic. Like, you're not, even the things that people would find embarrassing, you show people that you don't need to be embarrassed about it. And obviously the comfort zone is a very safe space, but also our friendship feels like a very safe space for me.
That is the most special thing anyone's ever said to me, and I'm gonna treasure that forever.
Get it tattooed.
Thank you so much. That really means the world to me, and I feel like that kind of leads into what I love about you so much, and not that I'm trying to copy you, but just how much you care about people. Like, I feel like you care about people on another level, even like outside of our friendship, like me not even in the equation. Like, when I hear you talk about your family or like your other friends, you have other friends? I'm joking.
Rude.
I'm joking, but like when I hear you speak about other people in your life, you care so much, and I think that's just so special.
Thank you.
That you, even down to like your audience, like you want the best for every single person, and considering what you've been through in your life, like you don't want anyone to go through that again, and the work that you do every single day, you get up and you persevere every single day to make a difference for even just one other person. And I know like if you've changed one person's day, you've done your job. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's your one goal in life, and I admire that so much, like how selfless you are.
That actually means the world. Like,
Yeah.
I get very down on myself sometimes, and I try to be kind to
No.
myself always, but sometimes I do get a bit like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? And that just,
And you
that's so
found it,
affirming.
and you do it every day, and you should be so proud of yourself.
thank you.
And you should also add yourself to the equation and take care of yourself too, the amount that you take care of other people around you, because you deserve the love and attention you give to everyone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Is
Aww.
anyone else crying? Because I just know when I'm at home and I listen to this, I'm going to be like, oh.
Just shedding a tear. Right now you're putting on a brave face.
Right now I'm like, I'm brave, I'm big and strong. I'm a big brave girl. No, that
was really wholesome.
That really means a lot. Thanks to the person that asked us to do that. I feel like we don't do
Yeah.
that enough. And actually, not to make it super deep, but I've been thinking recently about how this has really taken a dark turn. But
I'm ready to hear it.
at funerals,
Yeah.
the person is already gone.
Yeah.
but we tell them all of the things we wish we could have told them when they were alive. But we have free will. You can just tell people what you like about them. You can tell them what you love about them. Like, you can go up to someone and say, I just really admire the way you handle certain situations, or I love the way you speak about this. Like, you can just say that to people. You don't have to wait until it's too late.
Yeah, I feel like we really don't do that enough, because it can also be seen as, what's the word?
Well, people are like, oh, I don't want to be cringe. I don't want
That's
to be
the
like
word,
mushy.
cringe.
And
Yeah.
I obviously get that.
And people hold back a lot from saying how they actually feel because they don't want to be perceived in a way that's a little bit weird, isn't the word?
Well, yeah, but it can feel a bit weird. Like, you don't want to be like gushy about people.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's weird. It's just like lovely. Like, that to me
Exactly.
isn't like, that's really creepy that you think nice things about me. I'm just like, that's really lovely.
Yeah, and we all need to hear it sometimes. So I'm sure the person that you are thinking about saying something to might really need to hear it.
Go say it to them, or go message them and tell them the thing that you think is so great about them.
Yes, that's your one thing to take away from this episode.
Yeah, that's your one task.
Yes. And now we've had a little bit of an emotional moment, we're going to move into the next question, which is, what would be your dream career if money just didn't exist and you could do whatever you wanted with your life?
Ooh.
It's an interesting question.
This is a great question. I've actually thought about this quite a lot throughout my life, because the job that I most wanted to do, I obviously for a long time I wanted to be a psychologist or a therapist, but when I actually went through the mental health system, I realised the importance of, obviously everyone knows the importance of a healthcare support worker, or like the sort of lower bands in the NHS, but I wouldn't do them because I was like, I need to have enough money to like live and provide for a family or whatever. And healthcare support workers are criminally underpaid. The stuff they do is stuff that other people just wouldn't even want to do. But healthcare support workers, especially in the mental health field, they're the ones that are there at people's lowest moments, like in inpatient settings. They're the ones that are changing people's lives in the moment a lot of the time. And obviously everyone has their place, like nurses have their place, therapists have their place. But if money was not an issue, and if I wasn't doing social media, I think I would be a healthcare support worker, because I just feel like it's so actually there helping people.
That again goes back to one of your really great qualities, because that just shows how much you care about people and making a difference. Like, I understand what you mean, as in you're the person that's there with that person 24/7. Like a therapist you might see once a week, but you're there 24/7 for this person, and you can make such a difference, especially being through things yourself. I think it's quite important to have that experience and be able to use it in a positive way.
It just sucks that it's such an underpaid job, because it's such an important one. But I really feel like a lot of society doesn't make any sense the way pay works. It's like, what do you mean you can be sat in an office all day tapping away and earn like 12 times the amount of someone that's going into job with the risk of like being seriously harmed and saving lives and stuff, and they get paid like nothing? It's crazy.
It does really make me sad. I feel a little bit self-conscious about what I'm about to say about my dream in life, because you have a very beautiful dream and mine is a little bit selfish, but I hope that someone else can relate to this. Throughout my life, I feel like I've just constantly been following other people's rules and regimes. Like, obviously everyone goes through school, wake up, strict routine. When I was a teenager, I was like, I just want to be free. I just want to have my own time and do what I want. Then I worked as a waitress for 3 years. That was not fun. Yeah, in a strict routine, you live by someone else's rules. You get told what to do 24/7. That's fine, that's life. But I think maybe more younger me's dream, but a little bit me now still, is just to be free and to be able to use your time and do what you actually want to do, which is such a privilege. I don't think anyone actually can wake up and do that unless you're like mega rich, but we're talking about our dreams here if money wasn't an object, so I guess it makes sense. Being a creator gives you the most freedom ever. Like, this is such a privilege, and I'm quite lucky now to be at that kind of stage in my life.
No, but I don't think you're alone in wanting to be able to do absolutely nothing sometimes. Like, if I knew that, because I know that realistically I know you and you would get bored after like 2 weeks of not doing anything.
Sorry, I'm going to butt in here because that literally happened. That happened last week. I had like 2 hours to myself. I think it was like Monday evening. I just paced around the house like trying to find odd things to do because I was so bored. And I was like, actually, if I had nothing to do, I probably would be miserable because I'd be so bored. But carry on. I was just literally validating that you are 100% right.
I think everyone wants to be able to just chill and not have responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I also, my entire life, I always thought I would really quite like to be a stay-at-home mum. And my
Ooh.
job, obviously being a mum, is like a full-time job.
Yeah.
But I would love to do that. I would love to be that. I
Like-
think I'd just get antsy because of the mental health system, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a purpose as well. Like, especially being a mum, you have a purpose for your children. Like, as much as I say, my dream would be to do absolutely nothing. Realistically, if that was my life, I don't think I would enjoy it. Yeah, maybe that's just me as like a person. I'm just such an introvert, such a homebody, such a, I don't know, just want to chill 24/7. So that's what I think my dream would be.
Okay. Moving on. Are those all the questions about us?
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
we're going to get serious now.
Okay, we're getting down to business.
I think this is what you've been waiting for. We're going to give some life advice.
Yes?
Yeah?
Yep.
We're going to answer some of your dilemmas, what's been on your mind, your worries, and hopefully just give some like big sister advice. Even though we're not qualified, we're just going from like our experiences. It's just really nice to try and put ourselves in other people's shoes and give an outsider's perspective on what we would do in those situations. Should we jump right into it?
Cool, yeah. Okay, so the first question is, how do I move on from all the bad decisions I have made? I have my own feelings about even just the wording of this question, not in a like the person's done anything wrong kind of way, but just moving on from bad decisions you've made. In life, you are going to do things and feel things and engage with things that you later come to regret, and that doesn't mean that it's an inherently bad thing you've done or that you need to feel really guilty for things. I think we all put way too much pressure on ourselves to be the perfect person, and like maybe you've made some decisions in life that you regret, but you don't need to cling on to that regret. Like, it's okay to say, I really wish I hadn't done that, but it's in the past and it's done.
Yeah, it's impossible to be perfect 100% of the time if everyone got everything right. And it's quite nice to look back and think some of the decisions that we made in the past we necessarily wouldn't have made now, but that was the right decision for you at the time. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I decided to go to college and do art and design because in the moment that was the right decision for me. I really didn't want to do A-levels. I put my all into my exams in GCSEs and I was like on the verge of burnout. So I decided to go into like a creative course at college, and at the time that was the right decision for me. I don't think I would have survived through sixth form, but looking back now I regret that because I'm thinking I didn't use my like educational time for anything, even though every decision I've made has led me to where I am now. So it did happen for a reason. Even though I regret it and it could technically be seen as a bad decision, it wasn't a bad decision because it's got me here and it was the right decision for younger me.
Yeah. And you don't know if you'd have chosen a different course, what would have happened.
Exactly.
The whole butterfly effect thing, you know?
Yeah.
You could have gone to a different course and you could have ended up really stressed, having some kind of breakdown, and then you wouldn't have even got through like any of it. Like, there's so many things that could have happened. You can't regret your past decisions because everything has led you to this place, and the only thing you can do is look forward.
Yeah, what's done is done. Like, you can't change it. So it is easier said than done, but there's no point worrying about stuff that you can't change. Even like we've said a million times, stuff that you can't control. What's in the past is in the past. You cannot time travel. You cannot undo it. You cannot make a different decision. So it's just about how you navigate the next step.
Yeah, you can't change your past, so there's no point ruminating it.
Yeah.
Ruminating it?
Yeah.
There's no point ruminating on it.
Yeah.
You can't control your future, so there's no point worrying about it. You can make changes to your present, which will then have a knock-on effect to your future.
Yeah.
But holding on to guilt about the past and worry about the future is just going to make your present negative, and that's not the vibe.
And your present will be your past in the future. So if you're spending the whole of your present worrying about your past, when future you looks back, all it's going to see is this big ball of worry.
Yeah, not a vibe.
Not a vibe.
So the next thing we got asked was, I don't feel like myself in any of my clothes, but I can't find my style. Do you have any advice?
Interesting, because I feel like I'm still trying to find my style. We get so overwhelmed by trends and by other people's fashion senses that it's really hard to define your own. I feel like I'm constantly seeing things I like on other people, but I couldn't imagine that thing on myself, or there's 3 different styles that I'm interested in and I don't know how to put them together. So it is something that I'm still trying to work out. I think building a wardrobe really, really slowly of pieces that you absolutely love is crucial, but then that sounds so easy, but it's not.
I think part of the issue is trying to fit yourself into a style. Like, your style is your style. If that's a mishmash of 38 different styles that are categorised online, that's fine. You just dress how you want to dress.
that's really helpful, because I literally was just trying to do that. I was like, there's 3 different styles that I like on Instagram. I have to pick one, but I don't.
No, you can
No.
wear whatever you want. If you want to be like hardcore emo one
for
day
it.
and then the next day you want to be like a whimsical little fairy, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
You have free will, and people putting these like rules around fashion, you don't need to follow them.
Mm-mm.
Your style is seeing a piece of clothing and really liking it, putting it on and feeling good. That is what your style is, not forcing yourself into clothes that don't feel right for you.
Yeah, try and focus on how you feel more than what you look like or how you're perceived. Like, if something is really bright and colourful and it makes you really happy, then wear it. Try and slowly build clothes that you love. If you find you haven't worn something in 6 months, maybe get rid of it. Try and replace it with something that really makes you feel good about yourself.
We spoke about this a little bit in our overconsumption episode as well, so if you want to listen to that,
Yeah.
that is probably a couple episodes back from this one, I think.
Yeah. Even the word style can feel quite overwhelming, because it means that you have to wear 20 different things and jewellery and accessorize and shoes and all of this stuff, but just put clothes on your body that you like and call it your own style. Put your name on it.
Yeah.
Rose style, Jaycie style. The next question is, I'm going to target this one at you.
I feel
because
targeted.
I relate to the person that asked this. And the question was, how do I find hobbies as an adult?
Ooh.
Help.
Part of me's like, I'm not the right person to be asking, but have been a bit more adventurous this year, I guess. I mean, I've recently started going climbing. Actually, technically not climbing, bouldering.
Ooh.
I just really wanted to try something new. I wanted to do something that I knew I'd enjoy, because I always enjoyed that kind of thing when I was younger.
Yeah.
And my big fear around it was going to a new place and being bad at something and not wanting to start it. And I feel like the thing that holds a lot of people back from having hobbies is this fear of like, oh, I'm going to be terrible at it and everyone's going to laugh at me. Reality is, whenever you go to a new place, be it like a bouldering place, a gym, a swimming pool, anywhere that you have hobbies, people are understanding that everyone starts somewhere. So if you want to start a hobby, just start the hobby. Obviously, dependent on finances and everything, some hobbies are expensive, but there are a lot of very accessible, free or very low cost hobbies that you just have to accept that nobody's judging you and you're allowed to just try things for the first time.
Yeah, it's getting over that first hurdle, isn't it? I feel like that's what my block is. I say I want to start, I don't know, crochet. I feel like everyone loves crochet at the moment. It looks so fun.
It looks great.
But I feel like it'd be so frustrating if you try and make something and you just can't do it. But the first time you do anything is going to be bad. Like the first, I don't know, painting I did when I was 6 years old was terrible. Like obviously you have to practice something to be good at it. So that's really helpful for me to hear. And what about like actually deciding what you enjoy? I mean, I know you said you did bouldering as a child, so you knew you enjoyed that, but there are so many things out there that I feel like I could enjoy. I just haven't given them the chance to yet.
Give them the chance to.
There
And
we
then see if
go.
you enjoy them, and if you don't, then don't. But remember in the summer when we were playing tennis and
Yeah.
paddle and stuff?
Yeah.
It was great fun.
Yeah, that's so true.
Obviously tennis is quite weather dependent, but could be if paddle was like more accessible to us and there was a place that we could go,
Yeah.
that would probably have become a hobby for us.
Yeah.
So I do think if you're struggling to find hobbies because of the area you live in, maybe look more for like crafty ones or
Yeah.
making things. I used to make necklaces a lot, and that was a really fun hobby for me, and I ended up selling them because I ended up with like 40 necklaces. So I was like, I can't wear this many necklaces.
That's so fun.
Well, yeah, hobbies can become fun little financial moments too.
Yeah, I was also going to say though, this is where I kind of think that hobbies should not necessarily stay hobbies, but I'm gonna disagree with you a bit here.
Whoa.
Yeah, I am. I think for me personally, the reason I struggle to have hobbies is because I always think they should be something more. And that they should be worth my time for me to be doing something. Like if I'm going to start a hobby of crocheting, at some point I'm going to want to make something good enough to sell or to give to someone, but you don't have to have an end goal to have a hobby.
That just takes the fun out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
If you go into it thinking, this is going to be financially lucrative and I'm going to sell these things, or my time is money, so I need to make sure this is a worthwhile hobby.
Yeah.
You're never going to have any fun, because the point of hobbies is to unwind.
Exactly, you're allowed to have
Yeah.
a hobby that is literally just fun and there's no like end goal in sight. Like you're allowed to just, I don't know, this makes me think of running. You're allowed to just go for a run when you feel like it rather than having a goal of a marathon at the end of
Yeah,
it.
or having to pace yourself a specific way or
Yeah.
go a certain route or track it all. Like you can just use your legs and go for a run. If
Exactly.
you want to go for a run, or you can just sign yourself up for a pottery class because you want to go play pottery at play
Play
pottery.
pottery.
Love that game. You want to go make pottery, like it doesn't have to be so rigid.
And I think as well, it's okay to do stuff alone. Like a pottery class, I feel like that could be so daunting to go to that alone. But at the same time, it could also be so freeing because you know you're doing it just for you, and
Yeah.
you can sit with your own thoughts and actually, like, I don't know, become friends with yourself more. Like, it's okay to go to a group class on your own.
Make hobbies alone.
Yeah, your hobbies don't have to exist with other people, and then you don't have to rely on other people to do them. You're allowed to be your own best friend as well.
Yeah, because actually a lot of people probably hold themselves back from making any hobbies because they're like, oh, well, I don't have any friends to go do this thing with. A lot of things you can do by yourself and no one's going to judge you.
No.
I've never ever judged anyone that I've seen doing something by themselves. I've always just thought you're really cool.
Yeah.
That you are sort of like brave enough to go out and just, or you must be great if you enjoy your own company. I never think, oh, that person has no friends, they're sat by themselves. I always just think, cool, independent girl boss queen.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. And let's all do that. Let's push ourselves out of our comfort zones.
Yes.
Maybe we ease ourselves into some new hobbies and do some things on our own.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Fun. And let us know what you get up to if you do.
Yeah, let us know your hobbies below, actually. That'll give us some, like, good inspiration.
Yeah.
I want to start something new.
Talking of targeted questions, this next one I'm targeting at you because
Ooh.
I want your advice.
Okay, I'm here. I'm
'Cause
ready.
your little miss needs to be doing something all the time.
Yeah.
I'm little miss can never get started. And the question was, how do I get up and start? Like when you know you have to do something, but you just can't get up and start.
I like to think back to every single time there was something that I didn't want to do, and then I did it, and I thought, what was I even worrying about? Why did I put this off so long? I am speaking from a point I don't have ADHD, so I know that's something that holds you back and that can be a struggle for you. So I don't want to say, like, just do it, because
Just get up.
Exactly, because it's not. I know it doesn't work like that and not everyone's the same. But every time I tick off a task from my to-do list, I just feel so free, and I love to think about that end goal, that end feeling of knowing that things are done. And just having, like, some motivation. Like, even us today, we've said that we can go to TK Maxx when we get everything done.
She's
Which is,
rewarding
like,
me.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, give yourself a
Yeah.
little reward when you do something. It can even be, I don't know, brushing your teeth. You can then get yourself a reward.
Oh,
Like,
I used to have a sticker chart.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to start one again, but I just haven't done it.
you should do
Funny
that.
But you can literally download templates for sticker charts online and give yourself a sticker every time you do a certain habit, and then it kind of like reaffirms that in your head. But do you know
Yeah.
another thing that I think is helpful when you're talking about ADHD? If you really feel like you can't get started on something, breaking it down into tiny steps and just telling yourself that you only have to do the first small step. And then once you're up and you're doing that first tiny step, even though you've told your brain, like, we're literally doing one tiny thing, we're not going to do the rest, you're then up and doing it. And the next steps begin to feel a bit easier. I feel like sometimes even just having the plan of the steps to doing that thing makes it feel easier.
Yeah, big tasks can be so daunting.
Also, getting up in the morning, 3-2-1 method.
I was going to say this.
Jaycie's been trying to 3-2-1. I've been so tired today. And this morning you were like,
Right.
3-2-1 up. And I just went, no. But a lot of the time that I'm, you know, when you're in bed and you're like, I've got so much to do, but I just can't seem to get up. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Go 3-2-1 up and take your brain's chance to say no away.
Yeah, just, like, completely force yourself. Like, yeah, it can be hard, but make this very strict rule with yourself and promise that when you say 3-2-1, you have to do something. Don't over abuse it, obviously.
Well, no, but like, it's not even that. It's like, just you don't even have to like
Yeah.
put yourself through anything. Literally just, you can kind of like override your brain sometimes. Be
Yeah.
like 3-2-1 feet on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's just getting your feet on the floor. And it's like, oh, now I'm not in the same position I was. I'm basically up.
Yeah, so then you might as well do the next thing.
Yeah.
But also just know that you're not alone in feeling like that. It can feel like so many people are being so productive and doing 1,000,001 things with their day. And it's okay to not. It's okay to just exist. It's about finding a balance of doing things that you actually have to do and giving yourself rest when you know you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You will know deep down if you really aren't meant to be resting in that moment. And I'm
Yeah.
obviously very pro rest, so I'm not saying that in like a rest isn't productive. Rest is very productive. Obviously there are times where you might be struggling with motivation, and actually it would be the better thing for you to get up and do the thing that you need to do in that moment. Like, that will
Yeah.
happen sometimes, but you will know when those moments are.
And it's also okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a nice thing to say. You don't have to do everything on your own. If you're stuck on an exam at school, maybe not an exam because that'd probably be considered cheating. No, but like if you're stuck in class or you have like a mental block because you don't want to start your essay, it's okay to ask for help and support and go to your teachers and go to your peers. And yeah, it doesn't make you weak.
No, saying like, hey, I'm struggling with this does not make you weak at all. It's
No.
not a sign of anything being wrong. It just means you want a little bit more support to enable you to get things done, and that's so okay.
And I hope those tips helped you.
And on that note, we are going to move on to the final section of questions, which we have left till the end because we know that not every single listener is going to relate to this and will struggle with eating disorder related stuff, but we also wanted to put a little trigger warning on this. We're not going to go into any details. As we've said, we are a safe space, we always will be, but we are going to be discussing things around the topic of eating disorder recovery, and we had a lot of questions about this, so we thought we would do a section on it. And so
Shall we jump into them?
Yeah, let's jump in.
So someone mentioned that they have constant food noise and they can't stop thinking about food 24/7, and if we have any advice on how to deal with that.
Yes.
Yes.
To put it bluntly. I mean, obviously, to preface, not everyone's going to be the same. Not everyone's experience of struggling with food is the same. Not everyone's recovery is the same. For me, my constant thinking about food was because I had restricted myself for so long, so I was absolutely obsessed with food because I had denied myself it for so long and my body so desperately needed it. It was all I could think about. But also, it was because I was hungry. Mental hunger is a very real thing, and I think people forget that hunger isn't just your stomach grumbling. And actually, a lot of the time we talk about intuitive eating and listening to your body. You can't always listen to your body. Sometimes you won't have hunger signals, or you will have hunger signals, but you'll also have evidence that you're hungry alongside those hunger signals, and it will show up as thinking about food. Your body and your brain, because they've been deprived of it, will be thinking a lot about food, about nutrients, about what it needs, because you're hungry. And so if you're constantly thinking about food, a lot of the time that is a sign that you are underfueled and that you need more food. And you don't need to feel guilty for having thoughts about food. I think when you're struggling with a restrictive eating disorder or eating patterns, you can kind of think to yourself like, oh my god, I must be really greedy because all I can think about is food. It's not greed. Thinking about food is not a bad thing. It just means that you are hungry and that you probably want to eat food, and that's so okay.
Yeah, you are completely allowed to listen to those thoughts and fulfill them. And there was a point where I thought that I would never stop thinking about food. A lot of people say that the food noise disappears after a certain amount of time, and I genuinely, there was a point when I was healing my relationship with food that I thought I would never ever ever stop thinking about food, and I would think that people were so lucky to be able to go their day and just actually live in the moment and not think about their next meal, until I got to that point and I was like, wow, this is so freeing. Because when you listen to that noise and you actually satisfy it, it gets quieter and it gets quieter and it gets quieter, and it gets to the point where you barely hear it anymore. So it's about riding the wave, and it can be scary, but it is worth it, I think.
Is that when you feel like your thoughts around food got less obsessive and more quiet, sort of when you were more fueled, or like when did that happen? Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't explain that very well.
No, you did. I'm just wondering because
Yeah.
I think for me it was when I actually reached what was my healthy weight, not just like the bare minimum healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even though I was giving in to all of my hunger signals at this point, it was still there. So you have to push through that hard phase where you're kind of struggling with, okay, I'm technically healthy right now, but I'm still thinking about food all of the time. You have to push through that, and you have to keep eating, and you have to keep satisfying that noise for it to get quieter. And when you are completely fueled, it does allow you to live your life more as well, because you have the energy to do more things. So then you're preoccupied with these activities that you're doing, so much so that food doesn't become the centre of your life. So like, I wanted to plan an activity with someone when I was really struggling, it would be to go for lunch, because all I wanted to do was to eat, to satisfy that food noise and make it quieter. But then you get to the point where you suddenly realise you're making plans that don't revolve around food as well, because that noise is getting quieter and quieter and quieter as you're satisfying it and satisfying it and satisfying it. So yeah, I think if you're having food noise 24/7, it does mean that you are underfueling yourself a bit, and you need to listen to what your body's trying to tell you, because if you're not listening to its physical hunger signals, then it's going to give you mental hunger signals instead.
Yeah. And I was also going to say, your body doesn't even need to be giving you physical hunger cues for you to deserve to eat and to need to eat. Like, you thinking about food but your belly not rumbling doesn't mean you're not hungry. Like if I think about, if it's like 12 o'clock and I'm thinking about the fact that I need lunch, I'm not going to say to myself, oh yeah, but my stomach's not rumbling so I won't eat my lunch. But that is a trap that I used to fall into, where I'd be like, oh no, this is definitely an abnormal hunger because I think I want to eat but my stomach's full. But actually when I listened to that hunger and I listened to the thought, like the mental hunger, and I ate because of it, because I couldn't stop thinking about chocolate, and then I ate the chocolate, then it would go away.
Yeah.
Like I found that it was so much quieter when I just
Listen
gave
to it.
myself what I wanted. And what you were saying about making plans, like when I was so consumed by thoughts of food all the time, I'd make plans that weren't even food related. But like you were saying, all I could think about was the food afterwards. Like
Yeah.
say we were playing tennis, I don't
Yeah.
know. I wouldn't be enjoying the tennis. I'd be thinking, oh, what am I going to get at that restaurant we're going to afterwards?
Yeah.
Like it literally takes over everything. Whereas if you just make sure you're fueled, and actually it's also important to recognize that your body sometimes plays kind of catch up. So you might be thinking, well, but I am listening to my hunger and I am letting myself eat and it's not stopping. As Jaycie was saying, it gets to a point where your body goes, oh, okay, I can relax now. Like your brain's like, I know that we're going to get consistent food. But when it's kind of playing catch up because you've restricted for a while or because you've not given it what it needs for a while, it sometimes can take a little bit longer. But just have hope, have faith. It will get easier and it will go away. You just have to be consistent and keep giving yourself what you want and what you know you need.
And the more you try to ignore it, the worse it's going to get as well.
Yeah.
I think that's quite important to preface. Like, you can try and ignore it and hope that it will go away. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So try and bite the bullet as early as you can. Bite the bullet. But yeah, just try and address it when you notice it, because it will be worth it for the long run.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, should we go on to the next one?
Next question.
Okay.
Don't know why I've made you the question asker.
make you the
Asker?
next one.
Question asker.
The next question is how to know if I'm genuinely under eating or just being healthy.
Okay. Who's decided that under eating and being healthy are the same thing?
Yeah, that's the initial red flag that comes into my head.
And of course, this is no hate to that
No,
person
not at all.
and no criticism. But that to me signifies a real sort of disordered thought. Like, I can't tell if I'm under eating or if this is just me being healthy. You obviously know that you're under eating to a point because you wouldn't even be questioning it. If you're questioning whether you're under eating or not, the likelihood is you're under eating. And also, this whole idea that healthy eating
is eating as little as you possibly can is just ridiculous.
But that's what society's taught us. It's like, be good, don't eat things, don't eat the treat. Like it's all that kind of thinking that makes you think that the way to be healthy must be under eating. But it messes your body up so much. For your body to do all of its functions and have everything it needs, you can't be under eating. And the fact that this question actually says, how can I tell if I'm just being healthy or under eating? I feel like that in itself is a statement that you are under eating and trying to tell yourself that it's healthy, because anyone who's had a bad relationship with food or struggled with an eating disorder can't take that risk. You can't teeter on the edge of, I might be under eating, but it also might just be healthy. Like, you know that you need a consistent, whole, varied diet, and if you think you might be under eating, the chances are that you are.
Yeah, I feel like that pretty much sums it up so easily. Like, my whole life I've grown up thinking that being as healthy as possible is eating the most vegetables as I physically can fit into one meal and the smallest salad on the menu, but it's not. So it's just, I feel like it's social media's fault.
Yeah, well, also just diet magazines. Like, there's just been a culture, I think, built around smaller being better. But healthy, for me, is actually being the highest weight I've ever been. Or healthy for me is eating the most I've ever eaten.
Yeah, and having chocolate every day.
Yeah. Do I care?
And that's healthy.
Am I bothered? No.
Exactly.
I'm healthy.
Just understanding that healthy is not the same for everyone.
Yeah, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah.
So the next question is how to push through the moments where it all feels a little too hard.
When it feels a little too hard is when you need to keep going, because you've already got to this point. Yeah, the whole journey is scary in itself, but when it gets to the point where it feels a little too much and a little too hard and you want to give up is the point that you need to push through, because you have already got yourself to this level. You've already gone through, weeks, months of hard work, putting in the work every single day. If you stop now when it feels too hard, you're going to have to do it all again. You can't live the rest of your life like this. Like, you just can't. That's just a fact. So if you want to give up when it feels too much, you're going to have to put yourself through it over and over and over again.
Mm.
So if you keep going, push through the hard moments, as hard as it feels, it can feel like the world is literally ending. You're going to come out the other side and you're going to be so grateful that you did it.
As Jaycie always says, there is a version of you that makes it through this.
Yeah.
And you can't live your life in the thing that you think is safe and comfortable, in the thing that you want to go back to when things feel too hard, because that in itself is going to ruin your life. Under-eating, under-fueling your body, over-exercising, all the things that come with an unhealthy relationship with food, that come with many different types of mental illness, really. All of those things that you think are helping you cope, which, you know, they are coping mechanisms for people, they are all so dangerous. They will make things 100 times worse. And like Jaycie just said, if you want to give up when it gets to the hardest point, think about the fact that you are only going to have to do this all over again. But also, I think the most important and biggest points of recovery are the times when you push through the really difficult bits, because you are proving to yourself that even when it gets so hard, and even when every part of you is screaming because you want to give up, because you just want to go back to what felt safe, if you can push through that, you can do anything. Recovering from an eating disorder or disordered eating or anything is one of the hardest things a person can do. And if you can prove to yourself that you are able to push through those really hard moments, you will really show yourself how strong you are. And actually, your recovery will just get stronger and stronger, because every time those hard moments come, because they're going to come, A, it's a mental illness, B, it's life.
Yeah.
You are going to have times where you really want to go backwards. And I have had times, so many times, where I've wanted to go backwards, where I've thought, well, things were so much easier when I just knew what I was doing, when I was just not eating. Everything felt safe and fine, and, you know, I could go back to that. And then I thought, you know what, actually my life was horrific.
Yeah.
I've got a glamorized idea of what it was like in my head, because I have a disordered brain that tells me that it was great, and it wasn't. It was life ruining. It nearly took my life. And if I want to give in this moment, in the hardest parts, and I won't fight back right now, then I am going to forever be stuck in the lowest of the low, and it's never as glamorous as it feels in your head when your brain's trying to tempt you backwards.
Yeah.
TED Talk.
Everything you just said, retweet.
Retweet.
Retweet. No, I completely agree. You're either going to live your whole life miserable, or you're going to live a year miserable. And then you're going to come out the other side and realise how wonderful life actually is.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, you have to be blunt about these things, because I can't sit here and say, do you know what, like, it's okay if you engage with your eating disorder a little bit, because recovery is really difficult. Recovery is so hard.
Yeah.
You are going to have times where you struggle, but if you give your eating disorder an inch, it's going to take a mile.
Yeah.
There is no 1 foot in recovery, 1 foot in an eating disorder. You will still be miserable. You'll still be damaging your body. In the times where you want to give up the most, that is the most important time to push through. And whatever you need to do, just dig deep and get through it.
And I think in those hard moments as well is when you're actually showing your body the most love. Even though it doesn't feel like it in the moment, you're going to look back and realise how much of an act of self-care that was, to really fuel your body when it feels impossible to, because you want yourself to get better so much that you're doing the thing that feels so hard.
Absolutely. And when you think about what we were just saying about in one of the previous questions about your body, you know, being really mentally hungry, if you want to overcome the phase where all you can do is think about food, where your body's just so hungry all the time, if you want to move past that, your body needs to trust you. And every time you give in to an eating disorder behaviour, or you restrict, or you go backwards even a little bit, your brain and your body lose that trust in you just a little bit, and you will push yourself back. So if you try and think about your body in terms of sort of having a relationship with yourself and a relationship with your body, you need to keep on proving to your body every single day, even when it's so hard, that you are not going to let it down again, that you are not going to restrict or not give it what it needs, that it can trust you, because that is the only way that you will let go of the eating disorder cognitions. I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
That's how it was for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Could talk about this all day.
I know, maybe we should do a deep dive.
Yeah, we can do a
Yeah.
deep dive. We definitely want to do a deep dive on body image and weight gain and recovery and stuff like that. But we also don't want this to be a fully eating disorder podcast, because it's not who we are.
No, I think that's the beauty of recovery as well, is that you can live a life completely separate from your eating disorder. It doesn't have to consume you. It doesn't have to be a part of your personality. You are allowed to leave it in the past and set yourself free from that. And I think especially like sharing content around that online, I know you've felt like this a lot, like you feel like it becomes your whole personality and your whole identity. The longer you hold on to that and talk about it and let it become part of your identity, the longer you hold on to that part of yourself that you actually want to leave behind, because the whole point of recovery is to not talk about eating disorders anymore. Do you know what I mean? Even though it's so important for us to still talk about it because we know so many other people are going through it, it's important to recognise that you are so much more than your eating disorder, and your eating disorder can make you feel like that is your whole world and you only exist to be small, and just your whole life revolves around food, and that's not how it has to be.
Yeah.
That your whole life can revolve around you and who you are as a person, and food is just a part of it.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that we show you guys that by actually not making everything about eating disorders, because I think my recovery is so great because I have moved on, and because I obviously, I'm still so more than happy to talk about eating disorders because I want to help people and because I know that lived experience is so important. But I had to stop making it the only thing I spoke about because it felt draining, and it felt like I was never gonna move on from my eating disorder if I was so consumed with it and making content about it and talking about it all the time. And so we are going to talk about it because it's really important to both of us, but in a way that is raising awareness and not, it's not who we are. So while we will talk about it, and we definitely will make more episodes to try and help people with it, it's not going to be
our whole thing.
Yeah. And on that note,
should we go on to the last question? So the last question is, have we got any advice for mums trying to support their daughters through, I'm guessing, through an eating disorder?
Honestly, hats off to my mum. I do not know how she coped with me. Like, I don't know how she did it. And all of the people I've known with eating disorders, like being a mother of a person with an eating disorder must be so difficult. So first of all, if you are a mother of someone with an eating disorder, we are with you. It is an incredibly difficult job, and I think it's really important to validate your own feelings and know that like it is really difficult to watch someone you love be so unwell and engaging in something that's so harmful to them. I think one of the biggest things that would help from a mother to a daughter is knowing that this is not a choice for them. Like your child, daughter or son, they're not choosing this. They're not actively wanting to be unwell. And I know at times the way eating disorders present, it can really seem like it's a choice because you become so stubborn and you'll have arguments and you'll be like, no, like go away, I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. And it feels like that is your child who is saying that, and it's them, but they have an illness, and I know it can be really hard to separate the two, but if you can keep in mind that any anger you're feeling is towards the eating disorder, and if you can try and I found it really difficult when at times my mum would get angry with me, which of course she would, it's a frustrating illness, it's an illness that makes you angry to watch. I understand, but I would find it really hard when she would inevitably get frustrated with me because I was already beating myself up so much. And so actually the times when she was the most helpful, and my mum was super, super helpful to me. Like anyone that's watched my videos knows I'm very, very lucky with the parents that I have, and I don't take it for granted at all. But yeah, I feel like the best thing is just to be there and to model a healthy relationship with food yourself. I think that's a really important thing, to sort of show that you can have a healthy relationship with food and that you don't view foods as good and bad, and that you try and model that with yourself, but also to just understand that your child doesn't want to be ill as much as you don't want them to be ill. Just honestly, I think it's so hard because everyone with an eating disorder is so different, and actually being there for them is really difficult because a lot of the time when you're really ill you don't want help, and even if you do you can't accept it.
I was going to say that's the experience that I had. I somehow convinced everyone around me that I was absolutely fine and did absolutely everything behind closed doors. So I don't think anyone really knew how bad it was until it was too late. So I don't really have any advice to give because I didn't let anyone help me, and no one really tried to help me because they didn't know. Because I presented myself to everyone else that I was actually being really healthy and this was really good for me, and I was starting a whole new chapter in my life where I was running, but no one knew it was running because I was obsessed with it. Everyone thought I was running because I just wanted to be healthy because I'd never run before in my life. So no one knew that it was an addiction, and no one knew that I was obsessing over everything I ate, and no one knew that I wasn't eating home cooked meals because it was coming from an eating disordered place. Everyone thought I was just doing it because I was trying to be independent and trying to cook my own food, but really it wasn't. So I was very, very secretive about it. So
I think that will be a lot of people's experience because eating disorders are so secretive, and that will make it really hard for people to support family members because I mean there is also a level of shame. I don't know if you felt shame around the fact that you're actually struggling with something.
Yeah.
I felt quite embarrassed a lot of the time, and I just didn't want people to talk about it.
Yeah, I've never actually spoken about it with any of my family members.
What do you think you would have needed, or do you think you can't really answer that?
I don't think I can really answer that, because what I needed in the moment was to get through it on my own. I think if anyone had tried to step in and help me, it would have caused a lot of anger, a lot of argument, a lot of dismissal. I would have just kind of pushed the problem to the side and maybe become even worse, because I was trying to keep it even more to myself.
Yeah.
So I think I needed to get to that point where I did it for myself, and I chose to heal my relationship with food for myself.
Yeah.
But then it's very different for everyone. So.
Well, it is really different for everyone, and I think there is something valuable though in the fact that actually sometimes when as a parent you push too hard and you try and involve yourself too much, it can push the person that's suffering too far the other way, because you want to keep it all to yourself because it's your coping mechanism. It feels like everyone's trying to rip away from you the thing that you used to cope. So I guess the obvious things, because we're not medical professionals, like if you are able to get the person help, like medical help, if that's a service that's available to you, supporting them in going to appointments if they need to go to appointments, if they have a team or whatever, being a neutral sort of voice. Like obviously don't ever side with the eating disorder, but at the same time, a lot of I think when you're unwell and you're under like a team, I feel like it can feel a bit like everyone's against you, and you feel quite alone because you're like, everyone's telling me I'm doing things wrong and everyone's trying to stop me from doing something that I want to do, and it really makes you just push back against everyone. So I feel like as a parent, if you can kind of be like,
it's okay and I understand, and I'm not trying to, this isn't like anything against you personally, like you haven't done anything wrong, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, I'm not disappointed in you,
just I understand that you're unwell, I want to help you get better,
and I care about you. Not I feel like if anyone tried to step in and help me, I would have felt like everyone was disappointed in me, and then I would have been really upset, which maybe I would have needed that to kind of snap out of it. But I don't know, it's so, everyone's journey is so different, so I think everything plays out exactly as it does for everyone, I think, and you can't help how your journey is, but
that's also an important thing for mothers to understand, is that everyone's going to be really different, and you need to cut yourself some slack because you're dealing with something that no one else has had the exact same experience of, and that is a really difficult thing and can feel quite lonely. Literally, my main tips would be model a healthy relationship with food and your body. Don't talk about the person who's suffering's body, because it makes you feel like everyone's staring at you and judging what you're eating and everything. Obviously you're going to have to talk about food to a level, but not being like, oh, your body's changed in any way, like just don't mention it. And obviously just being understanding and remembering it's an illness, which I totally understand, even though I'm not a parent. Like I can understand that it would be really difficult to separate this person that you've known your whole life from an illness, because it really does take over the person. But
I feel like it's quite important to say as well that it's probably not your fault as well. Like I feel like
as a parent,
I feel like my mum probably, from an outsider, like she probably felt like it was her fault, and that's why she didn't really say anything either, because it was like this guilt of like, I've made her hate herself so much, and I've not done my motherly duties to raise a child that loves her appearance.
But you can't protect your child from everything.
No, exactly. Like it's not your fault, and you can't control whether your child's going to get a mental illness or not. Like it's already it's a chemical thing, like it's already going to happen whether you
that is the thing. Like eating disorders have so many different causes, and obviously I feel like there's a lot of talk about like eating disorders stem from parents going on diets and like from diet culture, but like actually eating disorders can stem from trauma, which could be like bullying at school, which you could have absolutely no control over. Like they can stem from, mine partly came from the fact that I was really anxious and lost my appetite. My parents always had quite a chill relationship with food, so also don't blame yourself, because you need to be as well as you possibly can to support the person, and being mean to yourself won't help that. So just sending a lot of love.
I guess my takeaway with that would be just keep an open line of communication. Obviously give them space when they need it, but step in if it's dangerous.
And there are helplines and support for parents that we will put in the description if you are a loved one of a person with an eating disorder. Obviously we are not professionals, so we can't give like solid medical advice or anything, but there are people who can listen and hopefully help, and just
You're not alone. No one's ever
Mhm.
alone. We're all in this together.
Mhm.
And I like to think that we're living proof that things do get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
For sure. And on that note,
Thank you for listening.
yes, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Comfort Zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will be back next week,
Yep.
same time-ish probably,
Same place.
depending on our Wi-Fi. Yeah, but we'll be back in the comfort zone next Sunday.
Yep.
Please like and subscribe, etc.
Yep, so you get-
Spotify, follow.
I think so.
And I feel like I'm about 85 years old.
I was
Spotify,
gonna
hit the
say,
button.
Well, 85 years old in the fact that I'm just going to curl up here and have a nap, I think.
We're going for our little afternoon sleep now. Good night.
Yes, it's nap time.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you.
Yes, we hope you have a lovely week next week, and
And it's also Christmas in 3 days, so have a lovely Christmas if you celebrate.
yes, have a wonderful Christmas. We would love to hear what you get up to in the comments as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.